Hello and welcome to this edition of Marketwatch by Guitarbench. It's the end December edition, and I'm Terence Tan, the editor. I'll be bringing you through the guitars we've found most interesting recently. Just a quick note, if you like this webcast, please support us by subscribing. It's just $5 for the whole of next year. You get 4 issues of our usual Guitarbench magazine, as well as exclusive access to this video 48 hours before it's put up on YouTube. We'll start off with an eBay listing for a BC Rich acoustic. Now this is made by BC Rich, and BC Rich eventually found fame building electric guitars, but this is a very nice acoustic guitar. It's a 000/OM shape in the Martin tradition. It is a left-handed guitar, but to convert it to right-hand is easy, and any competent repairman can do it. It's got a Sitka spruce top and solid Brazilian rosewood back and sides. Quite nice figure on it, although a bit slabs on. The workmanship, as you can see, is very high, and the woods used are very high grade. It has a little bit of bellying on the top, but otherwise the lister has said that there are no structural issues. It's currently at $2,650 with a bite now of just below $3,000. For solid Brazilian rosewood back and sides guitar, this is a good price, and even if you buy it and perhaps not so pleased with the belly or with the sound, even in the worst case scenario, if you retop it, you'd be getting a Brazilian rosewood OM or O guitar for less than $5,000, which is a decent price in today's market. We've had a lot of bourgeois on this program recently, largely because I think the used guitars are still slightly undervalued in the market, and this one is no different. It's listed up by Boutique Guitar Shop and it's on eBay. This is a 2004 vintage D with the Honduran rosewood upgrade back and sides. It's in good condition. It has the Adirondack top, a 1 3/4 nut width, and as with all of Dana Bourgeois's guitars, the workmanship is very high, the work is very clean, and no doubt it sounds wonderful. This is not a mint guitar. It has some wear on it as shown in the photos, but considering new, this would cost you in the region of $4,000 to $5,000 at least. The current list price of under $3,000, in fact it's $2,800, is a very fair price for a great sounding guitar. And yet another bourgeois. This one's a bourgeois Georgia Dreadnought. It's built on the vintage Martin D18 specs, and these Georgia Dreadnoughts, these so-called Georgia Dreadnoughts, were outfitted with the highest grade Adirondack tops with the highest grade Honduran mahogany back and sides. This is listed up as $2,200. List new, this would be close to $4,000 given the high grade of the woods, the specialty mark of the Georgia Dreadnought. It has a little bit of wear but no structural issues. It's a fair price at the moment. If you can get it down a little bit, it would be a bargain. And sticking with eBay, this is a 32 Martin C2 conversion. The C2s were an archtop guitar, but they had a standard O or OM body size, and some people feel they didn't work very well as archtops, and so a lot of them have been converted from an archtop to a flat top configuration, and this is one of them. The work done is nice and clean. Oftentimes you might see this on this guitar, is when you reset the neck, or if you take out the arch top, the neck comes down, you may lose half a fret worth of fingerboard space, and you can just see that in this photo. It's the 14th fret is just a little bit sort of proximal to the bridge compared with what you might expect, and that's not uncommon with these. It's not a big problem, at all. The Brazilian rosewood is very high grade, and it looks particularly like the restorer's done the right thing, kept the original top with all the fittings. Now, the one thing about this guitar, it has had a headstock repair, but the one thing is who did the conversion. So it's listed up as just shy of 10 grand. It depends on who did the conversion. If it's someone like TJ Thompson, John Arnold, Wayne Henderson, then it would be a good buy. If it was somebody perhaps less well known, you might be asking to go down on the price a little. But it's a very interesting piece nevertheless. Next up is an 045. This one's from 1929, and it looks very clean on the photos. It's bid up at the moment to $18,500 with a bite now of $20,000. I beg your pardon. And the Brazilian rosewood on it looks great. Everything looks great. It's had some work done on it, and the seller has very sensibly sent it back to Martin. And what they've done is that they've come up with the work list for it. So it doesn't look like there's anything too horrendous. There is a bridge reglue, yes, there is some filling of the bridge plate. It's not uncommon for an older guitar. The center seam separation glue up is again not uncommon for an older guitar. The cracks on the back and sides, I'd like some cursive photos, but again, it's not a deal breaker. The frets, I mean, fixing the uneven frets again is entirely for the guitar to be more playable. I have no issues with that at all. I would probably be asking for some bigger photos, better photos, particularly of the cracks on the back and sides, as well as the work done on the neck. But at close to $20,000, it's not a bad buy. These tend to be braced for steel string guitars, so you can play with lights on these. And in a dealer with maybe slightly less work done on it, you would be looking in the region of $25,000-$30,000 maybe, making this a vintage, very high-end guitar, which you may wish to look at. You may need a little bit more details though. Again on eBay, but moving away from the US, more to the UK, Todi Zamitis. This is a 12-string guitar, and these guitars are quite rare when they come up for sale. They tend to be very pricey. This is listed up at just shy of $15,000. Excuse me. His workmanship was good, and back in the day, he had a lot of celebrity customers, and that's where he made his name. There is even a Zamitis owners club, which goes to show how collectible these are. This guitar is apparently in good condition with very few repairs, and if you were looking for collectible guitars, or maybe you were looking at a nice 12-string guitar, these guitars are quite strong sounding. They're very sturdily built, and that makes them perfect to withstand the rigors of the increased tension. Back down in price, here is a Kent Blount Brazilian small-bodied guitar. This is offered up at shy of $2,000. For Brazilian rosewood guitar, that is really a good price. Kent Blount has not really built a humongously big name for himself, say, as opposed to TJ Thompson or maybe even Kevin Ryan, for just in terms of reputation. But he is known. The issue with this one is a crack on the top. So if you're looking for the sound, not particularly worried about maybe having to do some work on it, maybe having to look after it a little bit, this would be a good buy. This would be a good buy at $2,000, at shy of $2,000. And even in the worst cases, I keep saying, if the top really caves in and you need to get it redone, you'd be laughing, because you'd be having a Brazilian rosewood guitar at under $3,000. Okay, and like the first webcast, we have an Olsen here. This one's got more wear on it, but structurally is very well taken care of. It is the classic cedar and Indian rosewood combination, and this guitar is being put up by a collector of Jim Olsen's guitars. So he's got quite a number of them, and he does sell a few every now and then. And this, I mean, other than the wear on the top, it's in great shape. It's 1991, which makes it in the same era as when James Taylor started playing them. This is really a fine guitar which would be sounding good from all the playing in. It is listed up at $8,500. If this was in slightly better condition, you'd be looking at paying $10,000, maybe $11,000, maybe even $12,000 for it, even without all the abalone purfling or the James Taylor signature features on it, simply because this is from the '91 period when James Taylor started playing. So this is from their same batch. They tend to hold a little bit more value. But at 8,500, I think it's fair. It's fair, and if you make an offer on it, you know, who knows, you could be doing very well indeed. Listed up on the UMGF forum is this 1937 Martin D18. I love D18s. I love vintage D18s, particularly from this era, largely because they have the 1 3/4 inch neck, they have the scallop bracing, and they sound great. This is a guitar which has no cracks, entirely original finish, and just a little bit of playwear. That's all. This has to be a golden era, almost a grail guitar for anybody. The seller is offering it up at just shy of $30,000. Now, when you put that into perspective, a 36 D18 in similar condition, you would be looking at $40,000, $45,000, maybe even $50,000. If it was a 39 with the slim neck, you would be looking at $20,000. And I think this one is fair price. It's fairly priced. If I had the cash, I would definitely buy this. This is possibly a once in a lifetime guitar for somebody. In fairness, you could do maybe a little bit better on the price, but not for this condition. I would expect to see this up in a dealer's place for close to $32,000, maybe even $35,000. Given the fact that it's aged very gracefully, the top has a nice sheen to it, and it's not been touched. It's not been touched at all. And finally, from the Acoustic Guitar Forum, we have this collaboration guitar. It's a 12 fret 00 collaboration between Paul Wilson and Tim McKnight. And Tim McKnight did the back and sides because it's a laminated double back and sides. The outside is an African hardwood with a sort of bee's wing figure, and the internal is a mahogany sort of sheet, a laminate. The top is a western cedar exterior with an interior of Lutz spruce, which is that hybrid spruce which a lot of people are talking about these days. And here are some photos. It's been well taken care of. The quality of the workmanship is very high on this guitar. It's got that laminated neck, that nicely figured back and sides. And the thing to realize about this is that it's quite rare to get builders collaborating so closely, and it's always hard to price out these guitars. I do know that one of Tim McKnight's guitars would start you at $5,500. I mean, the seller's asking for shy of $3,000, and for a guitar which is essentially entirely customized, it's a work between two very well-respected builders. I think it's very fairly priced indeed, especially for somebody who's looking for a little bit more power and projection that these laminate double tops can bring, and somebody who's comfortable with that small, very intimate 00 size guitars. Well, thank you very much for your time, and that's it for this edition of Market Watch by Guitarbench, and I hope you found it interesting and enjoyable.